Some things are just too crazy to believe, but thanks to science, the internet, and history, we can bring you the craziest facts found throughout time. These are 20 facts that will make you scratch your head and wonder what kind of world we live in. Number 20. The most poisonous jellyfish. The irukandji jellyfish is a species of highly venomous box jellyfish that can be found within the waters of northern Australia. These atom-sized predators are the smallest species of jellyfish in the world. The biggest these little guys can get is roughly about 2.5 centimeters long by adulthood, but don't let their size fool you. Different from regular jellyfish who use their tentacles to sting, the irukandji jellyfish also have stingers on their bell and can fire stingers from their tentacles at their prey. That sting is 100 times as potent as a cobra, and 1,000 times stronger than a tarantula. These stings are so dangerous that researchers have an entire condition named after the jellyfish. Irukandji syndrome was named by researcher Hugo Flecker in 1952 after the Irukandji people who lived in Queensland, Australia. Symptoms of the sting start off small, being described as a mosquito bite, but get increasingly worse as time goes on. Severe headaches, backaches, muscle pain, chest and abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, sweating, anxiety, tachycardia, and pulmonary edema. Yikes. One more thing to add to the top list of nopes in Australia. Number 19. Spaghettification. Yes, you heard that right. Spaghettification, otherwise known as the noodle effect, is a term used in astrophysics to define the vertical stretching and horizontal compression of an object into long, thin strands when it is exposed to a non-homogeneous gravitational field. Sound confusing? Yep, it is to us too. Luckily, the internet is a godsend and we have Google. The only way your body can be spaghettified is if you're near a black hole. That's right, the only time you can be exposed to conditions as extreme as previously stated is if you are near a black hole. So that's one less thing to worry about, I guess. Unless you're Matthew McConaughey, then you should probably be worried. Number 18. Intergluteal cleft. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what on earth could intergluteal cleft possibly mean? Well, it's a medical term, described as the groove between the buttocks that runs from just below the sacrum to the perineum. It's a really fancy medical term to describe your butt crack. Well, you learn something new every day. Number 17. It took a month before the creator of the Rubik's Cube solved his creation. Erno Rubik, the creator of the now wildly popular toy Rubik's Cube, created what we now see as a frustratingly enigmatic yet fun toy back in 1974. To challenge his students in the understanding of three-dimensional problems, Erno initially created it for them. But soon after completing the project, he didn't even understand if there was a way to figure it out. He was not even sure if there was a way to solve it. On the issue, Erno says, "But for me, it was a code I myself had invented, yet I could not read it." After an intense month of matching colored blocks, he had finally solved it, and in 1975 had applied for a patent on the toy. Number 16. Dogs are banned from Antarctica. Sled dogs used to be an integral part of Arctic travel, being used as a means to transport people and supplies from one place to another. In fact, the dogs were deemed successful enough that they were used in the explorations of both the North and South Poles. Consisting of groups of dogs that range from Alaskan to Siberian Huskies, sled dogs are still used in rural parts of Canada, Greenland, and Alaska. They are even used for recreational purposes. Racing events such as the Iditarod Trail challenge one person known as the Musher and 16 dogs to travel from Anchorage, Alaska to Nome, Alaska. The trek can take 8 to 15 days or more, and the record time for completing this race from the frozen wasteland is 8 days, 11 hours, and 20 minutes. So why would such useful animals be banned from a place they would seem almost necessary? In the 1980s, the Protocol on Environmental Protection to the Antarctic Treaty, or the Antarctic Environmental Protocol, part of the Antarctic Treaty System, banned dogs from Antarctica. But why? There was concern and worry that the dogs might transfer diseases such as canine distemper to the seal population. They were also concerned that the dogs could break away from their groups and disturb the wildlife on the continent. Way to be more of a boring place than you already are, Antarctica. Number 15. The Christmas Carp. In Slovakia, as well as other nearby countries such as Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria, Germany, and Croatia, it is custom to catch a carp and keep it in the family bathtub until Christmas Day, then kill it and eat it. The next question you might have is, well, why the bathtub? While it is known that carp are bottom feeders, it is custom to put the carp in a bathtub with clean water to flush out any mud or toxins in the fish. On Christmas Day, the fish is removed from the tub and has its head cut off. It is then soaked in milk or sometimes salt to lessen heighten the fish taste and sweeten the deal a bit. The fish is then cut from top to bottom, then cut into horseshoe pieces to bring good luck to those who eat it, and is then breaded and fried. The carp itself is a symbol of luck, being one of the reasons why it has become custom to eat it on Christmas. Then, after the meal is finished, family members check under their plate for carp scales, and if found, are said to bring good fortune and luck in the following year. Number 14. The national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. We're just as confused on this one as you are. Adopted by King Robert in the late 1300s, Scotland's national animal has been the unicorn. Seen as an animal that is both noble and pure, the unicorn has been around for thousands of years in fairy tales and mythological stories across the world. In medieval Europe, the unicorn was seen as a strong and powerful, influential creature for hundreds of years. Since the scientific evidence that a unicorn has never existed wouldn't be around for another 525 years, many believed that the fabled animal was real. Merchants would sell unicorn horns to kings for thousands of dollars and use them in medicine. This mythical creature was highly regarded that it became the national animal under King Robert, not only because of its status, but because it was also natural enemies with England's national animal, the lion. Number 13. An Alaskan town had a cat for a mayor for 20 years. Stubbs the Cat was the mayor of a small Alaskan town named Talkeetna for 20 years. Found in a box by the manager of a general store named Lori Steck, Stubbs coined his name for being the only kitten to not have a tail. Stubbs was elected into office after the people of the town claimed to have not liked any of the real candidates running, and so people wrote his name in on the ballots. Although NPR later stated that since the town had no real mayor, meaning that there was no election, Stubbs was still recognized and dubbed the mayor of the town. His office was inside the general store where his owner worked, and he was seen moseying around the town every once in a while. Number 12. Cards Against Humanity wins Black Friday. Cards Against Humanity took the world by storm as it was released. Advertised as a party game for horrible people, this raunchy and not safe for work game sold millions and garnered multiple expansions for the game with certain themes to the cards within the expansion packs, such as the 90s Nostalgia Pack or the Fantasy Pack. Even a container for all of your cards dubbed the Bigger, Blacker box had a secret card stowed away within the lining of the lid. But back during the Black Friday sales in 2014, the company released a box that was full of literal bull feces. The company did this to show how ridiculous and crazy all Black Friday shoppers can be, and ended up selling 30,000 copies, where all of the buyers received literal bullcrap. Number 11. Pablo Escobar had pet hippos. Who would have thought that legendary Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar had pet hippos? Before his death in 1993, Pablo Escobar smuggled in zoo animals from across the world to create his public zoo, which he then opened later for the public to explore freely. Years after his passing, after the zoo closed and the other animals had been relocated to other zoos across the country, the hippos remained. Since no one could manage to move them, they began to breed and multiply in that zoo, eventually breaking free and inhabiting the waters of Colombia. Number 10. The Mandela Effect is a Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is described as a group of people remembering or recalling events that never occurred. But what if the term doesn't mean what you think it does? The Mandela Effect is a term that the internet came up with, replacing its more boring name, confabulation. In psychiatry, confabulation refers to a disturbance of memory defined by the product of fabricated, distorted, or misinterpreted memories about oneself or the world without the conscious intention to deceive. So, the Mandela Effect is a Mandela Effect. We'll give you some time to sit down with that one. Number 9. The word emoji has nothing to do with the word emotion. We'll wait for the audible gasps to die down. That's right, the word emoji has nothing to do with the word emotion. The word emoji is actually a combination of the Japanese words for e, meaning picture, and moji, meaning character. The resemblance to the word emotion is a complete coincidence. Number 8. The smallest thing ever photographed. The smallest thing to ever be photographed was the shadow of an atom. A research team at Griffith University was able to capture the image by shooting a laser at the atom, which then cast light on the atom, allowing for it to cast an actual shadow. Here we were, thinking finding the right angle for a selfie was hard to do. Number 7. A crocodile can't stick its tongue out. Wait, what? According to researchers, crocodiles have a membrane that keeps their tongue stuck to the roof of their mouths. In doing this, it protects the crocodile's airways since it spends a majority of its time underwater. The crocodile also does not use its tongue when it's eating. Number 6. Captain Crunch's real name By now, we've all heard about how Captain Crunch isn't a captain and how he's actually a commander, blah 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 blah. But get this, Captain Crunch's real name is Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch. What a stoic and lengthy name for a serial captain. Or wait, serial commander. Number 5. The true meaning behind the name M&M's. If you're like us and you've been wondering, what does M&M stand for? Well, look no further. The iconic candy name came from its founders named Mars and Murray when the candy was released in 1941. Number 4. The dot above the I. If you've ever been curious about what the name of the dot is that goes over the lowercase I and J, you'll chuckle to yourself once you hear it. Try and keep it together. It's called a tittle, and it is defined as the distinguishing dot above the lowercase I and J. Number 3. Neil Armstrong had to go through customs after coming back from the moon. Yes, you heard that correctly. After landing in the Pacific Ocean and making it to Honolulu, Hawaii, the legendary Apollo 11 crew had to go through customs and then be detained in a NASA quarantine room to make sure they weren't carrying any bacteria or diseases from the moon. The funniest part about this is on the customs paperwork where it says departure from, it just says moon. Number 2. Betty White is older than sliced bread. The iconic actress and Golden Girls legend Betty White is older than sliced bread. While Mrs. White was born on January 17, 1922, sliced bread was not sold in stores or around until 1928. To be fair, Betty White is more iconic than sliced bread. Number 1. All Froot Loops are the same flavor. Wait, what? You're telling us we went through our entire childhood tasting the same flavor rather than individual ones? What kind of sorcery is that? But sadly, it's the truth. Kellogg's sold us lies, saying that in marketing, they did, in fact, say that each color was a different flavor, but instead, they were all the same fruit-flavored, lie-covered blend. Did any of these facts surprise you? What do you think about Kellogg's lying to you for so long? Are there any facts that maybe we missed? Leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Titanic for more video countdowns. Also, hit the bell next to our name to receive notifications for when we post every day.